So there's like a new podcast that is kind of doing a similar thing. It's a husband and wife, and like he's the expert and she's the one. I know. I was like, and they're both like white. Um, so
Like
it's
white,
like
or are they just white pea? Just
they're both a white ass straight married couple, hetero straight. So
boring.
it was just kind of oh like she's the one with all of the but why kind of things. And I was like, that's literally every married couple that I like. That dynamic is just every married couple with sports.
Correct, correct. It feels like when I was looking for fertility podcasts, as I started to try to figure out like what is this experience that I'm going through, everything felt like male, like married couple, white couple, hetero, talking about their experience. And I was just like, no,
Wait,
no.
that's crazy because the amount of people with different demographics and different family structures who need fertility support is crazy.
It is crazy. There's good news is there's definitely been a lot more last couple years of like queer identified folks leading the podcast way, but it's still very much dominated by white women, hetero couples, if there are couples who are sharing their experience. And I just remember listening to one, and the couple would start like this. So we're just sitting in our backyard today recording, and the sun is, and I was just like, no, already, I'm out. I'm
What?
out already.
No.
When people come to, like, when people used to come to me for therapy sessions and say they used to have a therapist who would talk in that voice and just tell me what's going on in your body, I would tell them right off the bat, I just want you to know that's not my style.
No, yeah, same.
And
I
it's the shit
know.
that turns people off of therapy. Like nobody wants that shit.
It's the stuff that turns therapy into a meme. It's just like, that's not really what this is. It's not some kind of like, I think that turns it into like a soft science or a soft skill without like any sort of intentional intervention or strategy. And it's like, that's not really how it should go.
Correct. Actually, Hassan, when his latest comedy special, when
Yeah.
he does the woman's voice, the therapist voice,
Yes.
it's like, fuck, that's it. That's the one.
Okay, so I have to say, I don't super agree with what he said about like needing to have a therapist from your same culture. I know we talked about that like a couple weeks ago, but I mean, I've only had white therapists and sometimes it hasn't been great, but for the most part, it has. And then this other thing was happening where because I'm a South Asian therapist and I know there aren't that many of us, especially women, and like it's people are specifically looking for that. I really expected that to be my niche when I was starting my private practice. But this weird phenomenon was occurring where every young South Asian woman who was coming to me specifically because they were seeking a young South Asian woman therapist left within a couple of months. I don't know if this is just because of the nature of like therapy in Indian communities and families, and that it was just like the discomfort and there was no buy in. But my hunch is that the transference and countertransference is way too complicated,
Hondo
that they were
percent.
just like, I can't.
I could see that. I have actually not. I specifically sought out a non-South Asian female
Yeah.
therapist because I think my shit is just too wrapped up in my cultural identity, quite frankly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like great if I had a therapist who has found a way to wholly integrate these identities that they have. That's probably going to be, it probably is a good role model for me. But I still feel years later so stuck in my shit about my cultural identities that I just actually want somebody from the outside
Yeah.
looking in. I actually want
Yeah.
that feeling.
Yeah, that and like a good therapist should be able to hear your cultural specificities and like take them in. Like they teach us that in school. So like
Right.
yeah, the idea that you have to find like a perfect match, I just don't want people to feel like, constrained by that because I never have. And I found that sometimes it could backfire.
I mean, his point is correct in that if you have somebody who clearly hasn't done that training and
Yeah,
have the
yeah.
cultural sensitivity, they're going to fucking suck as a
Yes,
therapist.
that is true.
And not just with race, but all sorts of different identities. And as somebody who is a therapist, attends trainings, has given trainings. Not everyone keeps up with their growth and self-awareness in those realms. They sort of
Yes.
kind of move past it maybe after the initial training period in early career. So I
And the
actually for a
training,
while only preferred early career therapists.
because they're so like gung ho and like really fresh. And also, I feel like there's so much variation in like the quality of training that you can get as a licensed professional, like to become a licensed professional, that is just like, yeah, it really truly is like such an individual like crapshoot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, probably like any professional industry that folks are in, there's just some people that you're like, fuck, you're really representing us.
I know. It's, yeah.